Uh, Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I guess it's time, so I will start. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Dolphin. Hello.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Yeah, hello.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, we'll begin. Welcome. Yeah, sorry.
Let's get started. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, welcome everyone to tonight Learn to Earn session. This being the fifth session of Core 3. So I'll be your presiding officer for tonight's session, and our topic tonight is mechanism for retroactive funding for women and One Health. So first, let's understand what retroactive funding is. So retroactive funding is a way of giving like financial support after a project or initiative has already shown its impact and success. So instead of funding a project upfront, funds are given after the project has delivered results. So like now, why is this important for women and One Health? One Health is an approach that recognizes the health of people, animals, and the environment is interconnected. By supporting projects that have already made a positive impact, we ensure that effective and successful initiatives get the resources they need to continue their good work. So on that, let me take you through our agenda for tonight. So first of all, we'll have our topic master, Jen Ogutu, who will give us more insight into this mechanism. And then after the presentation, we'll have additional comments and notes and also words of wisdom from our own CEO of Actuate Biomedicine, Dr. Masharia Waruingi. And then after that, we'll have a question and answer session where you can ask questions and share your thoughts. And then after that, we'll have a summit presentation by Diana Mondi, who she'll be giving us what is going on the details on the summit. And then after that, I'll do the closing remarks. So thank you all for being here. Let's learn together and find out how we can use retroactive funding to support impactful projects for women and One Health. With that, allow me to welcome our first speaker, Jen Ogutu. Jen, you are welcome. Hello, Jen. Hello, Jen. Am I audible or have I lost everyone?
Dolphin, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you, Barbara. Okay, Jane, you can present since I can see you are in the meeting.
You're saying Jean,
Kindly.
it's Jean,
Jane.
Jane.
She's using another account. Jane Ogutu.
So she's using whose account? Because we have Pauline, we have Cedric Kizito.
D account D. It's
Hello
D
everyone.
E.
Hello.
Hello,
It's Jane. My network is it has some issues.
okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Okay, fine. You may go on.
Yeah, thank you, Dolphin. Today I'll be your topic master and we'll be talking about the mechanism for retroactive funding in DeFi for women and One Health. The introduction is the landscape of decentralized finance has the potential to transform funding mechanisms for various sectors, including women's health and One Health initiatives. Retroactive funding, a novel approach within the DeFi ecosystem, offers a way to provide financial incentives to projects that generate significant societal impact but may lack traditional funding sources. This research will explore how these mechanisms can specifically support women's health and One Health initiatives, examining their potential to create a more equitable financial ecosystem. One is understanding retroactive funding mechanisms. The definition and the importance. Retroactive funding is a mechanism where funding is allocated based on the impact or utility generated by a project after it has been completed. This approach shifts the focus from upfront funding, which can be inaccessible, to rewarding successful initiatives based on measurable outcomes and contributions to societal health. The other one is mechanisms in DeFi. Smart contracts. Utilizing blockchain technology, smart contracts can automate funding processes based on predefined success criteria, reducing an administrative cost and enhancing transparency. The other one is token incentives. Contributors may receive tokens that can be traded or used within the ecosystem, creating a dynamic incentive structure that rewards sustained participation. DAO frameworks, decentralized autonomous organizations can be established to govern funding decisions collectively, empowering stakeholders from women's health and One Health sectors. Incentive structures for contributors. One is reward models, direct tokens payment. Contributors such as researchers, healthcare providers, and educators receive tokens in proportions to their contributions to projects focused on women's health and One Health. Impact assessment. Funding may be distributed based on assessment of the social impact of completed initiatives, creating an incentive for measurable outcomes. Burn and mint models, using mechanisms where a portion of tokens used within the ecosystem is burned to increase scarcity. New tokens can be minted as a reward for impactful contributions. Stakeholders engagement. Incentives must engage diverse stakeholders, including women-led startups, grassroots health organizations, and public health professionals, ensuring inclusivity of funding opportunities. Promoting participation among marginalized groups in women's health and One Health can create targeted approaches that cater for their specific needs. Third is platforms and tools for facilitating reactive funding. DeFi platforms. A review of existing DeFi platforms that support retroactive funding, including Gitogen, known for its quadratic funding model, which prioritizes community-voted projects. The other one is Super Rare, a marketplace for digital art and funds creators based on community engagement and sales. Balancer and Uniswap, liquidity pools that can be utilized to fund health-centered projects through smart contracts. Other tools are impact DAOS frameworks for grouping stakeholders in women's health and One Health to collectively fund initiatives. Blockchain analytics tools that measure and impact of funded projects transparently and can automate and disturbance of retroactive funding based on these metrics. The fourth one is case studies. Successful retroactive funding initiatives, women health projects. Examples are Project One, a decentralized application that tracks maternal health outcomes and retroactively funds programs that show improved health metrics in underserved populations. The second one is the community-driven links. Mm-hmm.
You say community-driven links. What has happened?
Just a minute.
Okay, what is going on? Do you know, Dolphin? Can you hear me?
Hello, Jane. I don't know.
She said maternal health, and she said community-driven stuff. Then yeah, but I think that example of a maternal health retroactive public good funding is excellent because that's what it's all about. And I think that now solves the entire question for us. Maternal health web application. What would be such an app monitoring in maternal health? Because there's an app for maternal health on the blockchain, and it means that the health of the mother, which comes with the health of the baby and the family, and of course, all the animals that's in One Health. So maternal health, I think that app could be tracking the well mother clinic. First of all the way from the prenatal care of the mother. So that the mother gets rewarded for following prenatal clinics, all the appointments for prenatal care, they get to a clinic and they get a reward, and the provider of the service also gets rewarded for providing prenatal care to the mother. The mother, that is, she would need to go as soon as her last menstrual period. She suspects she got pregnant because you know what happened. She knows. Then she goes for prenatal care, and the pregnancy is confirmed. Then she receives tokens for that, for doing that. Step one. Then after that, she gets clinical appointments that every 3 months she'll be coming. So the next 3 months, that's the first trimester, she comes back. Of course, she gets all the shots needed to protect the developing baby, and she gets the prescriptions. And so that is maternal care, and she gets tokens for that. Those token incentives. And the person who is providing that care also gets token incentives. Okay. So we get two people receiving tokens, incentives. And then from there, from the first trimester, she started attending clinic every once a month to get ultrasound checks and all those things. This is a well baby clinic, and then to detect high risk pregnancy for the well mother until she goes through labor and delivery, and all that time she's receiving tokens. So such an application can track all those steps. And then after delivering the baby, the baby comes home, breastfeeding practices, and she receives credit for doing that. Because it can be telling how well she's dealing with the baby at home, breastfeeding for the first 6 months, and also making sure the baby is getting all the immunization, plus herself as well. So then after that, how she weans the baby from breast milk, or she transitions to liquid foods for the time necessary until the baby now goes to solid foods. You see, start pushing teeth at the age of 2 years. So we're talking about maternal health, going all the way. And you see, such an application will be created, and we are going to create it. And we allocate tokens for maternal health. And for retroactive funding, it means that we would have to think about the total capital required to fund that whole process for a single woman, and then for a community of women, so that we can now release Actuate tokens and say these Actuate tokens are for maternal health. Okay, and they can be used to reward mothers.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did she come back?
oh, sorry. Yeah, she's ready.
Okay, yeah. So we were expanding on maternal health, but then she said something about community. Something. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for that. I was talking about the One Health initiative. The Project One, collaborative research on zoonotic disease, where funding is based on discoverable health interventions that prevent outbreaks, highlighting and retroactive funding.
I think you jumped something. You said maternal health, and then we lost it from there. What was the next one? Community health. Community something.
The
After
community.
After
About a community-driven initiative.
Oh, that's a community-driven initiative. Yeah, that's why we stopped. I didn't know what you said about that. Community-driven initiative. Yeah, start from there.
Yeah. A community-driven initiative that leverages blockchain to distribute resources to organizations providing reproductive health services, demonstrating increased metrics of reach and health outcomes. Yeah. And the other one was the One Health initiative.
Okay.
Yeah. Project example, collaborative research on zoonotic disease, where funding is based on discoverable health interventions that prevent outbreak, highlighting the retroactive funding of preventive measures. of preventive measures. Project 2 example is an initiative utilizing community data to analyze contributors are to analyze environmental health impacts involving animal and human health. Contributors are retroactively funded based on data utilization and health improvements documented. And the conclusion is that the integration of retroactive funding mechanisms in DeFi presents a promising avenue of enhancing funding opportunities for women health and One Health projects by leveraging DeFi frameworks, targeted incentive structures, and successful case studies. The potential for improved outcomes in these critical sectors can be adopted and adapted to create a more resilient and equitable financial ecosystem. This research aims to provide a comprehensive overview of these mechanisms, establishing a foundation to explore further innovations in retroactive funding strategies for societal impact in health. Thank you, and back to you, Dolphin.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Jane, for your presentation. You have helped us understand how retroactive funding in decentralized finance, or in other words, it's DeFi, can support important projects for women health and One Health. Also, to just recap on what you have said, retroactive funding means giving financial support to projects after they have shown their impact and success. Yeah, this is different from traditional funding, which often gives money upfront. Retroactive funding rewards projects that have already proven they can make a real difference. Jen also explained that DeFi uses smart contracts and blockchain technology to make this process fair and transparent. Smart contracts are like digital agreements that automatically follow the rules set out in them. They help reduce administrative costs and ensure that funding is given based on clear, measurable success criteria. Jen also talked about using token as rewards. Contributors to successful projects can earn tokens, which can be traded or used within the DeFi ecosystem. This creates a dynamic and ongoing incentive for people to continue contributing to impactful projects. Involving stakeholders through DAO, or in other words, it's known as decentralized autonomous organization, is another key point. DAOs allow community members to collectively make decisions about which project should receive funding. This ensures that the voices of those working in women's health and One Health are heard and valued. Jen shared some example of platforms already using retroactive funding successfully. For instance, Gitcoin uses a community voting system to fund projects, ensuring that those with the most support get the funding they need. Other platforms like SuperRare and Uniswap also show how this innovative funding model can work in different areas. In which case, I think we'll invite both Gitcoin, SuperRare, and Uniswap to our summit. Yeah, moving forward, we also heard about real life projects that have benefited from retroactive funding. For example, a decentralized app that tracks maternal health outcomes and funds programs that improve these metrics in underserved areas. Another example is a community-driven initiative that uses blockchain to distribute resources for reproductive health services, showing significant health improvements. We also, Jen also highlighted how this mechanism can bring about positive changes, making the funding process more inclusive and effective. By focusing on successful outcomes and utilizing decentralized finance tools, we can create a more resilient and equitable financial ecosystem. So we have seen retroactive funding in DeFi offers a promising way to support projects that make a real difference in women's health and One Health. By leveraging this innovative mechanism, we can ensure that impactful initiatives receive the funding they need to continue their important work. So I look forward to hearing your question and also your suggestion based on the funding, the retroactive funding mechanism. So as you are preparing your question, allow me to welcome the CEO of Actuate Biomedicine, Dr. Macharia Warungi, to give us his additional points and notes regarding the topic. Dr. you are welcome.
Can you hear me? Am I okay? I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Gutu, for now teaching us again why we must use retroactive public good funding. Because this work, we have said, like maternal health, community-driven services for reproductive health, it's been going on, but with a lot of difficulty. And in fact, all that work is funded by foreign organizations, either European or they're funded by Americans. Okay, we know that maternal health is mainly funded through the Johns Hopkins program called JHPAGO, and the Family Planning Association, I think it's called the UNFPA, United Nations Family Planning. I don't know what A stands for, something like that, UNFPA. And then European, British mainly, through the women programs like Mary Stops. And what does that leave us as the participant? I mean, we don't fund any of that. Maybe sometimes the World Health Organization does that. And then even the work that's happening through the Ministry of Health, our own ministry, is funded by foreigners, foreign money. That's a shame. It's shameful. It's a shame. And yet, now you can see Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta and his wife tried the Beyond Zero campaign to raise funds to bring services to women, and that was somewhat decimated by other politicians, the succeeding politicians. And then they created Linda Mama program, which was also decimated. So it's like we don't care. We don't care. But I know we care. And this is because we're expecting that funding to come from where? From somewhere else, from outside ourselves. But that's how it's happening because we didn't have retroactive public good funding. So already maternal health is public good, as you have said that. Why is maternal health public good? Because when the mother is healthy, she holds the pregnancy to term, so she can deliver to the public. Remember, she's not delivering to herself. She can deliver to us, a newborn. That's what's called delivery. So she will have to form that newborn in herself with her own body. That's not the work of God, which is called public good, let's say a greater good. She's doing some great work. And then for 9 months, she's doing all that work all by herself so that she can even eventually deliver to us a human being known as a baby, a newborn. And not only does she have to deliver that baby to us, she has to maintain that baby alive with her own body through breast milk. Okay. Some people here in this world do not know where the breast milk comes from. They think it comes from supermarkets. No, breast milk does not come from supermarket. It's not something that you can go to where Jumia or even neighbors and bring home. It comes from the body of the woman herself. And so she's doing a lot of good work. That's a great job that should be rewarded. And we cannot wait for some foreigners to come and reward our women for the public good they are doing for us. Then after that, of course, she still has to raise that baby. And of course, the baby initially alone, but then it coincides with other people. When the baby goes to school, she has teachers. And then the teachers in school, you find the elementary school teachers, almost 90% of them, if not 100%, are women. Nursery school, it's very hard to find a man teaching nursery school kids. Why? Because it's nursery. Nursery means nothing. Men do not have an understanding of what is to nurse somebody. So nursery school teachers, elementary school teachers, majority of them, and even lower elementary schools, like from class 1, standard 1, up to standard 3, we find most of the teachers are going to be women. And so women, we want to understand how we can reward women for doing that great work. And see, we have a mechanism for doing that. It's called retroactive public good. And then in order for us to make that, first of all, we have to create an application, which now is an Actuate token itself, which is a smart contract. But then we allocate a whole bunch of tokens to maternal health that women shall be receiving rewards by just doing what a woman does. It's a public good or greater good. Or let's say for holding the sky, as we said, all that work of the woman is what we call holding the sky. And women hold the entire sky because of that. So then when you talk about reproductive health, community-driven reproductive health programs, that's educating women to come and receive reproductive health education, because this also is not funded by any one of us. In Africa, it's funded by foreigners. And what happens when foreigners gain access to our reproductive health? First of all, the foreigners who are funding us, they don't have interest in us reproducing, because they say they are going to mint so many new babies who is going to be growing into munchkins, and they'll be munching all the food, and then there'll be no food for us. Okay, you have heard of that story about limits to growth. Is that the idea is not to help you have a baby. The idea is to help you not have a baby. Okay, they are not there in terms of helping you build a large family. Now what they call family planning. They are not there. They are there to help you to discourage you from having so many children. And they say a nice balanced family is only maybe 2 parents, 1 child, or 2 parents, 2 children, 1 for the father, 1 for the mother. That's it. Then you close up. Well, that's okay. Well, if that's what you want, but they don't have to force people into that. Okay, so when these organizations came from abroad, some came from Europe, and others came from the United States. In the reproductive health programs, they started spreading rumors about the fecundity of the African woman. You know, fecundity, I never heard of that term until I said, oops, what's that? That fecundity is a woman getting pregnant and like to take that pregnancy to term. They were saying that African women are very highly fecund, F-E-C-U-D, it's crazy, fecund, that they are so fertile We are not talking about fertility here. Fertility is one, is conceiving a baby. Getting through that moment, you go into conception. The other thing that happens is taking that pregnancy to term and producing a baby. And that is what's worrying them very much. These African women are so figured that they could just be passing somewhere and they get pregnant spontaneously. And as soon as they do that, they are going to start littering us with little babies. There are babies everywhere, small munchkins. They're going to munch everything, and then they're going to become so many of them. And then as they're going to become so many, they'll be eating all the food that for us in Europe who live in a garden, protected garden, we have no food to eat. So you can see their idea of reproductive health is quite disingenuous. Their idea is to prevent people from, or to frustrate the fecundity of the African woman. So they've come with all kinds of mechanisms to prevent you from getting pregnant. Yeah. So because there are certain times you want to get pregnant, but there's so much intensive education. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have babies when you want them, then you can stop having babies when you want them. But the family planning training that's coming from outside, particularly driven by Europeans, is to frustrate African women from getting pregnant or to discourage them because they are too fecund. I don't know what they're trying to compare us with the European women themselves. First of all, they don't get pregnant. Well, I don't know whether they don't get pregnant, but you say they don't produce babies, so there's the population is decreasing. So, and then there'll be too many Africans and too little Europeans, too few, too many against too few of them. So anyway, now when you have retroactive public good funding, it's of course reward women for their fecundity, not punish them for being reproductive. And that can happen, or it strengthens the family so that people who have got children are not made to feel as if they are committing a crime for having more than 3 children, which was the recommended, well-planned family. So in this one now, the active public good funding takes us away from having to please foreigners to being able to please ourselves, our own reproductiveness. I have seen when I was in France, by the way, the French government was encouraging young women to get married and have reproduce as many babies as possible. Now that was their community-driven reproductive health training. Women, I remember I was with a young lady who was doing residency with me as a physician, and then she was telling me that she's going to get 10 children. I said, I was stunned. Can you believe it? She told me she's going to get 10 children. I asked her, why do you want to have 10 children? She told me that us as French people, our population is decreasing, and then we are encouraging all women to have as many as 10 children. Yeah. But many women there don't want to have even one child because I think they did they did a lot of education discouraging women from having babies. Now they want to have 0 babies, then they don't want to get married, and then they start complaining. Now they are training them that your body, so long it is stable, you can have 10 children and you'll be fine. Yeah, that's the way the forefathers did do. They used to have a lot of babies, 10 children, 13 children, and they still survived. So this story about having too many children is called multiparity is a story which is a negative narrative because our great grandmothers had so many children and they actually survived. How did they do it? Yeah, but see, when we create an illusion of scarcity, like what we have today, scarcity created through the Western model of development, economic development, it makes people feel or believe that there's not enough resources to support the population. Why is it important to have young growing population? Because they provide the labor force and they provide things. I mean, when the youth grows up, it helps to do a lot of work, come so many discoveries because young people are very, very imaginative and creative. When you have a population that has only old people, then what happens? That population start losing is innovative potential, creativeness, because people are creative in when they're young, and then when they're teenagers, highly creative, and the creativity starts dying down when they grow. They are growing older. They get into their 30s. Then they can only remember the things they used to do when they were teenagers. So, so retroactive public good funding is what is going to help us gain access to the independence of reproductive potential. Independence of reproductive potential, rather than having to listen to some people who themselves are afraid of losing whatever it is, the material resources that they extract from our people. And so they come with the narrative that you guys do not, you need to stop having children, okay? You're too fecund. You're too fecund. Forget about this fecundity. Stop having babies altogether. So that's, but then it's important for people to have baby for regeneration of the population. And so the women have to do that job. And so having now a system that is totally decentralized decision making about the governance of the fecundity of the woman, rather than relying on one central organization who has a hidden agenda, a hidden agenda to frustrate the fecundity of the women. So retroactive public good funding overthrows that whole thing. That's why we want to make sure that we understand this, because there's a lot of hidden agenda with all these foreign supported programs, which they will never show in face value. But then why don't we know about these things? Because when they do some such things, they don't publish it in the Nation newspaper. They're not going to get that information by reading the Nation or reading the Standards or even watching Citizens TV. They publish them in their medical journals. Those medical journals are not available to our people. For example, stuff like that fecundity, I did not read it in the Nation newspaper. Yeah, it's published in the Journal of Tropical Medicine, which is published in Liverpool, London. So that journal is only available to the Londoners, people of London, United Kingdom, and people who can afford that journal because it's expensive to subscribe per year. So they know that we are not getting the information. We do not know what's going on. Yes, but they can tell themselves together what's going on, what we are doing with these African people. But now it's because we are trusting the money that is coming from them. And as you see, money comes with strings attached. So retroactive public good funding totally shatters those lists, totally cuts off those strings. It cuts off the strings that are attached to the funding. The funding for reproductive health, we are told, is reproductive. Even the World Bank itself is in that system of talking about reproductive health. When what they're actually talking about is creating a narrative for frustrating women to make sure that they are not going to be fecund. They cannot get pregnant. Okay, and in case they get pregnant, they don't take that pregnancy return. So when I was in medical school in fourth year, they taught us something called TOP. TOP. TOP is called termination of pregnancy. Can you believe that? They were teaching us medical students. An easy way to help a woman go through a TOP, termination of pregnancy, which was a very small, very simple procedure that you can do in 15 minutes, known as MVA, manual vacuum aspiration. Can you believe that? That in English language is known as an abortion. So they were teaching medical students across the entire African continent how to perform abortions and make it very fast. You can do it in a few minutes, like in, out, 10 minutes, gone, finished. Yeah. And the lady is good to go home. Yeah. They were not teaching us that to terminate pregnancies, that you could say high risk pregnancy. They were teaching us that to encourage all the women who are getting pregnant, particularly young women, teenage women, to tell them, listen, you cannot take this pregnancy term because XYZ is going to impact very negatively to your life, and you don't want life having negative impact. So come in, it's going to be take only 10 minutes. We just yank that thing out. We don't even call it baby. You yank out that baby, you yank out that thing, and then you'll be back on the road again. And surely the process was quite simple. And if you do it nicely in sanitary condition, it's very easy to do. But you see, that's really, it's not a proper counseling for the young girls and even young women. So when that becomes easily available, people can do TOP any which time they want, because it's just like going to get, it's like just going to just going to the shop and buying what, a kilo of sugar and going home. See, grocery shopping. Let's say something like that. Okay. So I'm very excited about this because this kind of things, that type of narrative, is going to be revealed, the dangerousness of it, because as you have seen, their concern was the fecundity of the African woman. Oh, this woman is so fecund. She's producing so much baby. Two communities in Kenya were said to be highly fecund. Nyeri woman, that a Nyeri woman could be passing. A Nyeri woman gets pregnancy, she has to make a baby. She has to deliver that baby to the world without fail. So saying Nyeri women are the highly fecund. Other group was the Kakamega women. Kakamega women was also said to have very high fecundity. I don't know whether there's any any truth in those statements, or it's just propaganda, scientific propaganda. When you read in journals, say, whoa, Nyeri women are the most highly fecund women in the entire planet, in the world. So we had a reputation for high fecundity in Nyeri, published in the European journals. And also, Kakamega women are said to have the highly fecund. So I don't know whether they actually did any studies in other places. Yeah, but that is that. So you can see there's a lot of propaganda, just like we have in politics, like what the Zakayo is doing, trying to confuse our minds. That is also in the biomedical science, particularly reproductive health. It's a very, very, very big deal. Yes. So I think when we have retroactive public good funding, on the good side of reproductive health, not on the destructive side of TOP, termination of pregnancies that are otherwise healthy, and teaching people in the community. We're talking about community-driven reproductive health. We're not talking about going there in the community saying, you can get pregnant any one time you want, and then you can come and we terminate your pregnancy. Yeah. So if you have, first of all, it's don't get pregnant if you don't want to get pregnant. It's not that you can get pregnant any time you want, and then you come around and then you can terminate that pregnancy. That's not good. Even if you got pregnancy by accident, you find after delivering that baby, it gives you great joy, because a baby in English language is known as a bundle of joy. Bundle of joy. So don't terminate it. Yeah. So don't buy the narrative about TOP. TOP is destructive. So, but see, that was happening because there was no mechanism for participation, community participation in the decision about those things. And so, as you see, when you have tokens, the tokens are distributed through a reward mechanism. You can now reward those people who are keeping their pregnancy safe, producing a baby, delivering to us in the community a bundle of joy. So become joyful, we come and celebrate the newborn. Because that newborn, the one who is born, becomes the king of kings. You never know what this newborn is going to do. It's born with great potential. So let the babies be born. And let's reward the mothers for doing that. And then you can help. Because we know the mothers are doing that, let us help them to deliver to us all the bundles of joy so we can be celebrating together. See? And let's not buy some narratives that is negative, destructive, that is brought by people who really themselves have got hidden agenda for what they call population control. Population control. Yes, population controls itself. It doesn't require any human intervention. Yeah, and I want to say that again. Population controls itself, just like nature controls itself without any need for human intervention. To talk about TOPs and all these things, because if the population is doing its job, um, working on the public good itself, then the population is going to have enough resources of itself. In Kikuyu, we say itimi nanagranyaki. I don't know how to translate that. Itimi nanagranyaki. That means that when you're grazing, they never finish the grass for one another. Okay, have you ever heard of that? They never finish the grass for one another. So like when animals are grazing out there in the field, let's not talk about wild animals like zebras and gazelles. Who gives them all that grass for them to eat? Is it any human? No. They never finish the grass for one another. So why is it that humans want to say that we don't want other humans, they're too fickle? You will never complain about family planning of the gazelle population or even zebras or anything like that. So they have their own reproductive health, which has got managed by the great cycle of life. And so without putting too much human intervention. So when this thing is distributed decision making, which would come in a decentralized autonomous organization, the DAO, the DAO. So the DAO itself is the one that gives power to the people to make decisions about their own reproductive health, rather than the decision about reproductive health coming from one or two organizations in the world. Yes. All right. That's a very big topic. Eventually it gets politicized by the propaganda machine, but because there are people who want to control populations of others. But as I said, as it is that they never finish the grass for one another. So if they cannot finish grass for one another, why are human beings so much interested in controlling other humans' population? And then, clocking that, covering it with something they call reproductive health education. But that was because it was not decentralized. We had centralized funding. With a decentralized funding mechanism like retroactive public good funding, we are going now to take the sovereignty of the reproductive health all over again, like it was before. All right, back to you, Dolphin.
Okay, thank you, Daktari, for those wonderful remarks. Yeah, I believe everyone have learned something from your words. Yeah, and also, yeah, it's true. We should allow all the babies to be born. It seems they are a bundle of joy. And also, yeah, babies do feel some voids. Yeah, so thank you, Daktari, once again for that wonderful remarks, and also for teaching us, yeah, good lesson. Yeah, we should never terminate pregnancy. Yeah, abortion is a crime. So if you have any question, feel free to ask. Yeah, so yeah, send it on our chat box. Meanwhile, allow me to welcome Diana to give us report based on the Actuate Nairobi Summit. Diana, you are welcome. Okay, hi everyone. Okay, Dolphin, kindly confirm if I'm audible. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the Nairobi Summit announcement. As you all know, the Actuate Pre-Boston Nairobi Summit is going to take place on December 3rd to 6th at Kenyatta University, and the theme is going to be using blockchain, DeFi, and AI to improve wealth and human development. And you can come to the summit either as an attendee, sponsor, exhibitor, speaker, and also you can come and do poster presentation to the summit. And for you to come as an attendee, you only need to pay a fee of $150. You go register, and you'll gain a lot of benefit. If you come as an attendee, you'll have the opportunity to discover innovative solutions. You'll also get a chance to network with like-minded individuals. Yeah, and remember, this conference is the opportunity to gain a deep understanding of how blockchain and DeFi can be harnessed to tackle global health concerns. And also, you'll have the opportunity to explore the potential of this technology to empower individuals and communities. And also, you'll get the opportunity to network and collaborate with group of stakeholders. So yeah, you can come as an attendee during December 3rd to 6th and pay a fee of $150. Also, you can come and register as a speaker. As you all know, for now, we've got a lot of speakers, many speakers. So you still have the opportunity to come and register as a speaker to the summit. You can go to our website, actuate.bio, and go and peruse the list of speakers. And also, when it comes to the part of the exhibitor, we are also looking for exhibitors to attend the summit. So you can pay an exhibitor booth fee of $1,000. You can go and register and pay that fee. And remember why you should exhibit. First of all, if you come as an exhibitor, you'll get a chance to showcase your innovations and connect with a dedicated audience at the leading event on blockchain, DeFi, and AI for health and human development. And the reason why you should exhibit is that you'll reach a targeted audience. You'll also gain industry exposure, and you'll also network with key decision makers, and you will also generate qualified leads. And the benefits that you'll get if you become an exhibitor is that you'll have an opportunity, networking opportunities, where you'll have a chance to participate in a dedicated networking event to connect with the industry leaders and potential partners. You'll also benefit from the conference extensive marketing reach and attract a steady stream of potential customers. You also get a chance to secure a prominent space on the conference floor, showcase your product and service. Yeah, so you can go and pay the exhibitor booth fee of $1,000 for you to come to the summit as an exhibitor. Yeah, and when it comes to the sponsors, right now we are really working hard on getting those sponsors, especially sponsors and also exhibitor, so that you can make the summit to become a successful one. So the first type of a sponsor that we need to come to the summit is a title sponsor who pays $100,000 to attend the summit. And remember, he or she will get a benefit for attending the summit as a sponsor. The second type of a sponsor is a diamond sponsor who pays $10,000. Then we have a platinum sponsor who pays $7,500. Then the next sponsor is a gold sponsor who pays $5,000. Then we have a silver sponsor who pays $3,000. Then the least type of a sponsor is a bronze sponsor who pays $1,000 to attend the summit. And remember, this summit will be
will, it will shape the future of healthcare and human development through your support. So that's why we need those sponsors. And if you go to our website, you will come across the sponsors benefit. Each sponsor have got varieties of benefit depending on which type of a sponsor he or she will choose to be. And remember, another opportunity that you will get if you manage to bring a sponsor to the summit, you'll be able to receive the 5% commission for fee or that the sponsor will pay to attend the summit. So that one will motivate you to work hard and bring the sponsors to the summit. And remember, a sponsor can be anyone, any company, any organization that can sponsor a summit, that can pay a fee or fund the summit. Yeah. And when we come to the poster competition, remember the winners of the poster competition will receive grants to commercialize their innovation and also to present their work at the Actuate Summit in Boston coming in the year 2025. So only if you get the chance to win during poster presentation. So this is another opportunity for you to attend the summit. And we have guidelines for poster competition where you'll have, for you to present your poster, you'll have to submit a poster presentation about your innovation on the use of blockchain, decentralized finance, and artificial intelligence in health and human development. And also on your poster, you need to explain how the new technologies of blockchain, DeFi, and AI contribute to improve access to healthcare, translation and commercialization of knowledge into products and services. And also remember, your poster must illustrate why the innovation is of significant importance to individuals. And your poster must show clearly why your innovation will have a positive benefit to its users by explaining the number of people who are likely to use the technology, by giving their demographics. Yeah, and for you, and the last one is that you need to indicate on the poster how you plan to roll out the innovation, and indicate on the poster the roadmap to the commercialization of the innovation, explaining the milestones of exploration and prototyping, manufacturing, and distribution. So for now, we need to work together, guys, from Actuate Nation, so that we can bring those sponsors on our side. We are really working hard to find the sponsors and exhibitors. Yeah, so we are dealing with a lot of companies, blockchain companies, AI. So yeah, I will back to you, Dolphin, and maybe if Dr. Masharia has anything to add that maybe I've forgotten, it can add. Yeah, back to you, Dolphin.
Okay, thank you, Diana, for that report on the summit. Yeah, I hope you all have heard, and if you have any questions regarding the summit, yeah, also you can ask based on that. And also remember, we have a pre-implementation form. Yeah, that form you have to fill out in order for us to know what kind of people would you like to us to invite to our summit. Yeah, so we need your cooperation kindly. Yeah, and also remember, when you bring a sponsor, you get 5% of the according to the package the sponsor would have acquired. So this is a big deal for you to make money. It's a great way to make money. If you have any issue regarding on how to be sending a message to them, you can kindly contact me or any of the group team members. Yeah, they will definitely help you on that. You should not allow this 5% go that freely. So with that, I hope if anyone have a question, kindly post it on our chat box. Yeah.
Okay. Am I audible? Can you hear me? I don't know. Doctor, can you confirm whether I
Yeah.
can? Okay. Yes, I just
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
add one word about the summit. Just one word. In a word, is all of you asking yourself, okay, the summit, what is in it for me? That's what human beings are made to ask. And that's a great question. But like Kennedy said, ask not what the country can do for you, but ask what you can do for the country. That is Kennedy in 1969 before he was shot. I guess that message is very bad. People don't want to ask what they can do for the country because they assassinated Kennedy right after that. Ask not what the summit can do for you, but ask what you can do for the summit. And you see, that's a very, very powerful attitude, mental attitude, because the summit, when you do things for the summit, then the summit does things for you. Can you believe that? That is amazing. It's known as the law of identical harvests. Did you know that? Law of identical harvests. Whatsoever seed you sow, so shall you reap. Who said that? You all know the great teacher, Jesus Christ himself. Whatsoever seed you sow, so shall you reap. For example, if you fail to plant or to sow seeds, you cannot harvest anything or you cannot reap anything. So first of all, it is that simple. So that's why it's called identical harvest. The other thing about that identical harvest is that you cannot sow thorn bushes and expect to reap or harvest oranges. For example, if you plant thorn bushes, what's going to happen? You're going to reap thorns. That's an extreme example because people don't go actually planting thorns. But that's what Jesus said. The bushes, thorn bushes, are going to produce thorns. But say oranges produce oranges. If you plant orange seeds, you're going to harvest what? Oranges. So if you plant cassava, what are you going to harvest? Cassava. If you plant beans, you harvest beans. Why am I saying this? It's all about planting. Okay, that's why it's called identical harvest. It's a divine law. And what Kennedy was saying, ask not what the country can do for you. They don't ask what is in the summit for me. That's really a misguided question. Then you ask yourself, what can I do for the summit? For example, if you have a shamba, say of 5 acres, you cannot ask the shamba or your small farm, what will this shamba do for me? What you do is you go and plant your seeds. You plant your beans, and then you harvest beans from your 5 acres piece of land, even if you have only 1 acre. But you cannot be asking the shamba, now give me beans. Or what will you do for me if I pay attention to you? That shamba will look at you and say, okay, wait for me. And then you have nothing. See? So the summit is like that, and not just the summit, everything is like that, that you have to sow in order for you to reap. Okay? That's a divine requirement that for those who sow, they shall also reap. But those who do not sow, they reap nothing. Okay? And so because you're here, you have great advantage. Like now for you, you have 100,000 acres of land. I'm not even lying to you. You have 100,000 acres of land. What you harvest from that 100,000 acres of land has nothing to do with the land itself. It has everything to do with what you sow on that piece of land. So that's the whole thing. Do not ask what the land will do for me. Ask what will I do for the land in order for it to give me the great harvests. Okay? What will I do for the summit in order for it to do the great harvests? So the summit is like a fallow land, piece of land, fallow. But you have to work to get it to harvest, to bring you great harvest. And this great harvest will come in 3 distinct ways. You will harvest connections. There are a lot of people. It's called networking. So you get to know those are the people who will help you advance your career. Then you'll harvest possibility for going global, like you can present your ideas to a world stage in Boston next year, which is a big deal. Or you will harvest a lot of money by bringing sponsors. So ask not what the summit will do for you. Ask what will I do for the summit in order to harvest those things. First of all, to harvest those things, the easiest way for you to enter into it, because like having the seeds you're going to plant, your orange seeds or your seeds of beans are in the poster presentation. Make a poster, it's quite easy. It's just making a PowerPoint. Once you got PowerPoint describing, go to our website and look for the specification for that poster. The poster has to address your idea. It's not somebody else's idea. It's your idea. Just like today we have talked about great ideas, like a maternal health application for retroactive public good funding. You can do something like that if you want to do it, but you cannot do it if you do not want. This means that you have to sow the seeds. And the idea could be much less complicated than that. That could be just what you're doing every day. If you're in school and you're studying environmental health, you must have lots of ideas that you can present. Put in the poster. The poster itself, in order to be a winning poster, you want to make it a winning poster. It has to show how decentralized finance will integrate with your idea. And this is why we have been here, decentralized finance. Talk about retroactive public good funding, like what we have just explained about what Jen Ogudu has taught us about how you can use retroactive public good funding for maternal health, something like that. It's an idea. Put it on a poster, because the people who will be attending that summit who have never heard of that. This is why I'm saying you have 100,000 acres already, because you have a lot of knowledge that you can just put on a poster. And that poster is going to have your name at the top. So it's your benefit. So don't ask what the summit will do for you. Ask what will do for the summit. Because the summit will do for you things when you do things for the summit. Okay, that's the entry point, which is, you could say, effortless, and you won't even break a sweat. If you sweat creating a poster, you know you're overdoing it. It's like going to the gym and trying to start lifting the 100 pounds dumbbell. Don't start with that. Start with the low weights, like 40 pounds, 20 pounds. You can do that. Okay, so that's what you do. Second, in the summit, you want to tell anybody you know, everybody you know about it. Why? Because by sharing, you actually get more insight. Why is it that sharing an idea with somebody makes you know that idea better? Yeah, that's like if you have one candle and it is lit, one candle which you have lit is on the table, and that candle shares its light, or it helps to light another candle. What happens? There's more light in the room, so there's more illumination. That's called the process of illumination. Get more enlightened. Remember, we talk about enlightenment. You become more enlightened by sharing. If you don't share the idea about the summit, you don't become enlightened. What happens? You dive into darkness. And there's no point about knowing something without sharing, because it usually works in a binary type of way. You either get enlightened or you get darkened, or you go into darkness of it. So the purpose of being here is to help you get enlightened. We help ourselves get enlightened by sharing. The more you share, just like if one candle just keeps itself and refuses to share its light with another candle, it refuses to light another candle, then the darkness in that room is going to be great. Great darkness. And I want to remind you another thing that Jesus Christ said about that. If thine eye was single, that's why he said that your eye is the light of the world. Or the eye is the light of your body. That eye is your consciousness. It's that idea. If thine eye was single, and it's receiving light, how much light is there going to be in that body of yours? The body that Christ is talking about is your consciousness. It cannot have that light inside your consciousness if you do not share that light. You see, then he said that a house on a hill, if you put up a light on a house on a hill, then it sheds light to everybody. It cannot be hidden because a house on a hill can be seen by everyone. So you want to be like that house on a hill, which everybody can see. Okay? Don't be the one who draws back to predation, like hiding, not being seen. So this is the thing about enlightenment. You get enlightened. And that's what's about sharing. Then he went on and said that nobody lights a candle and then hides it under the bush or the bucket. Nobody lights a candle and then covers it, because the purpose of the candle is what? Is to shed light so that people. Now the purpose for you being here, the main purpose for you is to shed light to the people. That means others, not to shed light to yourself, because even a candle itself cannot shed light to itself. The candle is a source of light to illuminate the room. Even a light bulb does not shed light for itself. The light bulb sheds the light so that the darkness runs away. You see, darkness really does not exist, and you don't scoop darkness with a bucket. Like you remove darkness from the room so that light can come in. You just need to switch on the light. So this darkness that can prevent you from participating in the summit can be eradicated by just switching on, flipping on the switch so your light comes on. And when your light comes on, you are now able to illuminate. So I said that the first step to get there is to create a poster. The poster is your source of light that you'll be sharing with a lot of people. And people cannot see you if you're not shedding light. Nobody lights a candle and hides it under the table or in the bushel. Second is that as you're lighting that candle, you are sharing people in the community. Now, because we're going to have a very huge workshop on women health by the East African Women in Decentralized Finance, led by our own Dolphin Akinyi, who is the queen of East African Women in DeFi. So you want to tell everybody you know about that workshop on women, even people you do not know. This means that you can go on the social media and talk about it. The workshop on women at the Actuate Summit in Nairobi, Actuate Nairobi Summit. Workshop. What are we going to be talking about over there? The same thing we've been talking about for the last 6 months here, so that we can now light that candle and let it shine. Let it shine even to others who are not participating in this session. That's what you want to do. Then some of those people would like to come and exhibit their products to the African women in decentralized finance. And those are the people you want to know them because you actually already know them. Think of people who make products that women use. These are like consumer products. These are the personal hygiene products for women to domestic, household products for cleaning, detergents, for cleaning clothes, for cleaning floors, cleaning dishes, cooking, food companies, cooking, recipes. People like who make nice, delicious sausages. Talk to them. Tell them to come and tell us, even show us how do they make. Because you're talking about the health of humans, starts with the nutrition. Think about them. And those people, so they come in and you can certify, I'm the one who brought this one. And that person pays $10,000. You keep 5% of that. Now that is what we are talking about. That's the third way to participate. Now doing things for the summit so that the summit can do things for you. Now, by the time you're talking to such companies, because you can convince them, if you can convince a company like that to come in, you can be sure that that company would give you a job in the future. Why? Because you're managed to convince them. People working in companies, because companies are people, they're human beings working there. They love people who convince them how to do things because they know you can convince their own customers, the customers they are looking for. And of course, if you convince them and give them opportunity to participate in a summit. And so you have, it's very easy for you. That's why we're saying these are 10,000 acres, 100,000 acres land, because you don't have to convince them so hard. The summit itself is already formed. We have so many speakers, very, very many high profile speakers. And we're working in university, very, very many high profile presenters are going to be coming there. And we are going to be expecting more than 600 people. That is in person, can be a physical human being in person, in flesh and blood. Then we shall be streaming it online, which is going to be reaching thousands upon thousands of people. So if somebody comes is to participate, even as a sponsor in African Women Decentralized Finance, the word of their participation is going to go by leaps and bounds to, let's say, far and abroad. So that is why, again, I say, President Kennedy's remarks say, do not ask what the summit can do for you. Instead, ask what you can do for the summit, because that fulfills the law of identical harvests. You shall reap what you sow. Now, I tell you again, you have got 100,000 acres and you have seeds. It's only for you to plant them. But if you don't plant them, the seeds, they're not going to, you will not harvest anything. All right. So prepare yourself for a large harvest. All right, back to you, Dolphin.
Okay. Thank you, Daktari, for that. Yeah, I hope all of you have had. So since there is no question, yeah, I think I'll be closing the meeting. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight's session. So I'd like to first start by thanking our topic master, Jenogutu, for that presentation. And then I would like to thank our own CEO of Actuate Biomedicine, Dr. Macharia Warungi, for his insights and words of wisdom. We really appreciate you. And to all those who have managed to attend our session, yeah, thank you so much. So we have learned, today we have learned how retroactive funding in decentralized finance can support important projects for women health and One Health. And through Jane's presentation, we have gained a great insight into how these funding mechanisms work and their potential to create a fairer financial system. So I would also like to remind you about the importance of keeping your Actuate tokens. Yeah, you through this lesson, it's called Learn to Earn. After you are rewarded the Actuate tokens by attending our session. So some of you might really don't know the importance of these tokens. So I'm here yet to remind you again the importance of keeping your Actuate tokens. So these tokens are not just reward for your participation, but also a way to stay engaged with our community and support future initiatives. And also, holding onto your tokens help you remain an active part of our ecosystem, and also can lead to more opportunities in the future. And also through these Actuate tokens, you can create a liquidity pool. Yeah, you also get to earn through creating liquidity pools. I hope you all have read the Richest Man in Babylon, and if you haven't, please go and read the book. I believe that book will help you understand why it is important to create a liquidity pool. Yeah, so your participation tonight has been wonderful. So I encourage you all to use the knowledge you have gained and think about how you can contribute to these new funding methods. Together we can make a real difference in health outcomes for women and communities around the world. So thank you so much once again for joining us tonight's session. I look forward to seeing you again next week, and have a great evening. I've just posted the form, the attendance form, so kindly fill it. I'll give you some minutes. Yeah, and also kindly spread the word to your your group of friends about our summit, and also to the company you are currently working on, or maybe university, about our summit, about our summit. So thank you and have a great evening.